Hello there, it is Nicole from Loved and Listened To, and this is another edition of Mental Health Mondays, the series where I give you a quick tip to help you deal with some mental health issue. Today I'm going to talk about something that's pretty personal and very recent as of just a few hours ago. And I would like to tell you about something that my therapist told me during my session today. So if you don't already know, or if you're new here first, welcome. Make sure to hit that subscribe button so you can come on back and enjoy all the stuff I have to say. Or not. I hope that you enjoy the stuff I have to say. But if for context, if you don't already know, I have been going to therapy for a few years. It is by far the best money that I have ever spent. And that's saying something because I spent $100 to adopt my loving cat. I did. That's the second best use of my money ever. But the first is definitely therapy. And during today's session, I was talking to my therapist about how I am working to get this YouTube channel started, how I want to help people and have a more meaningful life, and also talking to her about what it feels to be a middle-aged person and how my concept of time and how I spend my time is starting to not get dire. Like, I'm not like, oh no, I'm gonna die any day now, but I'm definitely much more aware of how finite I am and how finite my time is, and with that kind of undercurrent of almost being 40, in a little bit I'll be 40, but with that kind of undercurrent in my mind, that is really influencing how I spend my time and making me question how I spend my time to make money. So, work. Talking about jobs, y'all. So when I was talking to her about how frustrated I have been feeling at both of my jobs, yes, I have basically 2 jobs, but when I was talking to her about how frustrated I have been recently, and talking to her about how that negatively affects my mental health and also my physical health. So if you're not aware already, you can go over to my other channel and I talk about my journey with fibroids and adenomyosis and all this stuff. But the stress of my job really negatively affects me both mentally and physically, emotionally, all the stuff, right? And as I talked to her during our session, she said something to me that was so profound. And I was like, oh, bollocks. I have thought of that, but I have not thought about that. You know how when you logically know something, this happens to me a lot in therapy. So you logically know something to be true, but it might take a situation or someone saying something to you or a book that you read or whatever to really make that aha moment, like Oprah calls them, that it's already in your head, you know it, but then the thing happens or the words are said and it's like boom. You're like, oh shit. Damn, yes. That's what happened to me today in therapy. My therapist told me that, Nicole, maybe you're so sad and so frustrated so often because with all of the working that you're doing with your 1.5, your 2 jobs, you spend a lot of your time each week doing something that you not only don't enjoy it, but it doesn't give you any purpose. So you don't enjoy it. You're not getting a sense of purpose. It's needlessly frustrating, and you're not doing anything that you want to do. What do you do that you want to do? I couldn't even answer that question for her. Aside from occasionally going out to eat or going to the movies. I don't know what I do that I want to do. I go on vacation approximately every 3 years. Does that count? No, kind of, but not really. I spend too much time doing stuff that I don't want to do. And that negatively affects my mental health. Now, I'm not saying that in order for you to have a good relationship with your mental and your spiritual self, that you only do the things that you want to do. Because that is not really how this matrix is set up. No matter how much money you may have or how much resources or whatever, most of us cannot just do whatever the hell we want to do whenever we want to do it. There's always some sacrifice or something that you have to consider. You may have children or a spouse or a pet or something. There's always usually some limitations, or there may be some social constructs. Like if you want to slap somebody in the face, you probably should not do that. You might want to, but you should not do that. Okay? So I'm not saying that you should only do whatever you want to do. But I am saying that, especially if your job, if you are spending 40 hours at a job, 50, 60 hours a week at a job that is both not fulfilling and you hate it and it's frustrating, consider get yourself out a piece of paper and you write down how many hours in a week that we all have. And then you compare that, I'm not a mathematician, but I'm trying my best. You compare that to how much of that time you spend doing things that you hate to do. And I can't tell you what your number should be, but if you're spending half of your life each week doing stuff that you hate, that will negatively affect your mental health. It is doing that for mine, for sure. I don't have 100% of an answer for you. I obviously cannot tell you what you should go do exactly to make your life better, because this is a general YouTube video. But I can say that hearing that from my therapist and writing down my own numbers of the amount of time that I spend doing things that I hate versus the amount of time that I have each week, when I wrote down my numbers and compared them, I was like, oh my God, it was a good wake-up call for me. So the future of my journey is going to look like, first, trying to figure out some things that I actually enjoy doing. It has been a long time since I've actually kind of sat down and thought about what current Nicole likes to even do aside from going to eat or stuff, right? So I need to do that. I don't even remember. And I think that describes a lot of us, having been through the pandemic and now trying to be normal again. What did you even like to do before the world fell apart? What do you like to do as the world is continuing to fall apart? I don't know. If you have an idea, comment down below. But I hope that was helpful to you. I hope that you decide to write down your own numbers and compare those percentages. Having a kind of black and white, a number, was really, really helpful to me, because I was no longer thinking about how unfulfilled I felt. I could quantify it, and that was an interesting and eye-opening thing to do. So if you decide to do that, leave me a comment down below and share your number with me, or just leave the calculator emoji to let me know that you made it this far in the video. Thank you so much for watching. Again, I hope that was helpful. Make sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe. And while you are still here, why don't you go ahead and check out another video. And I will see you in the next one. Namaste.